Home to some of the most haunted locations in America, Route 66 is more than just an iconic highway. Former saloons, historic hotels, and underground caverns. The spirits of travelers, hotel guests, and even tragic figures from history continue to make their presence known. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the legends of Route 66 live on. Underwear, alcohol, syphilis, murder, forbidden.
Coughing up all that phlegm.
All that jizz.
All that jizz.
From our favorite Broadway musical.
Ooh, I'm excited. And I'd like to welcome everyone real quickly to Forbidden, the podcast where we discuss the disgusting, the dark, and the disgraceful in our unmentionables. That's right. We've slipped into something more comfortable. Hope you're doing the same, listener. Have a cocktail in hand. Welcome. My name is Amanda Kamada.
And I'm Blake Roberts.
And this is our series, Welcome to Seance. We're stepping into the shadows to explore chilling tales of hauntings from around the world. Apparently today that'll be Route 66. Place your fingers on the planchette and let's dig into the paranormal with spine-tingling stories. The haunting begins now.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Speaking of spirits, what are you sipping on this evening, Amanda?
I am sipping on a blonde pale ale, as I believe I was last week. So I am pretty, unprepared for today, nothing exciting. But I did take an edible as well. So just to make the story a little more scary for myself.
Perfect.
And pray tell, what are you drinking?
Well, I just emptied a glass of wine, a white wine. I was drinking Albarino, and I am now going to be imbibing on a Cabernet Franc, which I will pour into this microphone.
Awesome. Why not? Why not?
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers indeed. I have an itchy nose today. Oh my God, I just had to let a bee out. There was a bee in my house.
Oh no. I know bees are very good for the environment and all, but they scare the shit out of me.
They can stay out in the environment, not in my house.
Yes, exactly. I get freaked out by bees. Like I'm one of those, if I see one around, I'm flailing.
Yeah.
Like a big idiot.
I've known to do that a time or
Yes.
two. We have a lot of things flowering right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Arizona in February.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of pollinator plants. So they are, at this time of year, they are drawn to our yard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. Maybe you should start a beehive and make honey.
I am not doing that.
I know that's a thing now with the hippies.
My brother has a beehive.
Does he? Yeah.
He's
My
not a
grandpa
hippie, but
used to. Yeah, my grandpa used to have them back in the day, and they made really good honey for sure. But I don't know that I could get around that close to bees, even with all the garb on and stuff like that. I think I'm just too afraid of them, too afraid of getting stung.
Yes. Well, speaking of afraid, shall
Yes.
we hop into your convertible and take a little road trip down Route 66?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So I think, we've sort of learned from the past couple of episodes, for some of these sort of historic haunting stories, there's not a whole lot of detail, which is why I decided to do a whole Route 66 thing. So some of these will be just quick little bullet points. We'll just drive by and wave as we go.
Mhm.
I'll just give you little tidbits. And
Just
then
like we would do if we were, passing by the largest ball of twine.
oh, we would definitely stop at that one.
Yeah, we might stop.
I do love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's face it, we would be aiming for bars.
Yeah.
But
It would take us like 2 weeks to get through Route 66 because we would stop at so many bars.
oh, that'd be so fun though. Can we just get an Uber from Chicago to LA?
Exactly.
We shouldn't be driving while we're doing that.
No, not at all.
So, Route 66 was one of the first fully paved highways in the United States, playing a crucial role in westward migration, from Dust Bowl migrants to families simply seeking a new life out west. Nicknamed the Mother Road, did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yes. Now you do. This is so
Mhm.
educational.
Very.
Nicknamed the Mother Road, it was officially established on November 11th, 1926, eventually spanning 2,448 miles from Chicago to Los Angeles. And our first stop, Amanda, is in Chicago at the Congress Plaza Hotel, which was built in 1893 to house travelers visiting for the World's Columbian Exposition and has since become a landmark. I don't know what the World's Columbian Exposition is, but I know they used to do like all the World's Fairs,
Hmm.
you know?
I was kind of expecting you to say World's Fair. So
Yeah,
maybe that's what it used to be called, and
right. Like a
now
predecessor of the World's Fair or something.
Mhm.
It was very specific. It was the Columbian Exposition.
I went to the World's Fair in New Orleans in the 80s with my parents.
Oh, really?
I did. Yes.
That's cute. New
Yeah.
Orleans is pretty haunted, but that's not along Route 66.
No, it's not. Back to Chicago.
Back to Chicago. Back to your convertible. With a reputation as one of Chicago's most haunted hotels, the Congress Plaza Hotel has been home to classic poltergeist activity, unexplained noises from the ballroom, and appliances turning on and off by themselves.
Oh.
And Amanda, guess who's rumored to be a permanent resident?
Al Capone.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he's
I just know
supposedly.
he's a famous Chicago gangster, so
Yeah, I did not expect you to get that, but congratulations. You get an extra
wow.
glass of whatever you're drinking.
Oh my God. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah. While you're there, keep an eye out for the chilling hand of mystery, a ghostly gloved hand said to belong to a worker who was accidentally trapped behind drywall during the hotel's construction.
Creepy.
Yeah, and then there's Peg Leg Johnny, a hobo whose untimely death in the hotel has led to frequent sightings of his ghost. I shouldn't laugh at that, but it sounds so ridiculous.
It does. Because back then it probably was an actual peg leg.
Yeah. Yeah, oh,
Yes.
totally.
Yes.
And since we started in Chicago, we're not staying at the hotel. We had brunch and we're gonna drive on to Missouri.
Oh,
So the Walnut Street Inn, formerly known as McCann Jewel House, is a beautiful representation of the inviting charm and elegance of a Queen Anne Victorian home. Constructed during the economic downturn of the mid 1890s, when jobs were scarce, the home benefited from the expertise of skilled craftsmen eager for work, resulting in exceptional craftsmanship and detail. But this historic inn is also home to a ghostly female presence, particularly in the Rosen Room. So if you go stay there, stay in the Rosen Room. One guest reported seeing the spectral figure sitting at a table, only for her to claim the room as her own before vanishing. And then, using a Ouija board, employees discovered that she was a guest of the inn who passed away in her 70s, but her name remains a mystery. She's believed to watch over guests as they sleep, providing an extra layer of protection. Which just sounds to me like the inn is like, no, it's a friendly ghost.
yeah.
She's good for you.
Yeah. No thanks.
Yeah, vitamin C you later. I don't think so. She's not that good for you. The Walnut Street Inn has been named one of the top 12 inns in the country.
Now, is that top 12 inns in general or haunted?
I think in general.
Oh, wow. It must be really cool then.
Yeah, I could not find where that quote came from or
Mhm.
what year it came from, but it's been tossed around on a few websites, so it
We'll
must be.
give it a whirl.
Yeah. So then we're gonna bop on over to my hometown, Tulsa, Oklahoma,
Welcome to Tulsa.
and let's take in a show at Cain's Ballroom.
Oh,
So Cain's Ballroom is a historic music venue that has hosted legendary acts like Hank Williams, the Sex Pistols, the Ramones, and Van Halen. Opened in 1924, this former automotive garage is now a hotspot for paranormal activity and spine-tingling stories. Terry French, a paranormal investigator and haunted tour guide in Tulsa, has shared tales of unexplained occurrences at Cain's Ballroom, including cold and hot spots, disembodied voices, mysterious singing and giggling, and the sensation of being watched by unseen presences. One of the most famous spirits is the country western star Bob Wills, who loved performing at the venue so much that he reportedly chose to make it as his afterlife home. But Bob isn't the only guest there. There are two female spirits, Jane and Chloe, who also haunt the venue. With Jane with her spirit dating back to the 1950s. And then while Bob and Chloe seem to be friendly and curious, Jane is described as indifferent. She's a little standoffish. She's a little shy.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm a little bit that way too.
Yeah, I get it.
Have you been to this place?
I have. I saw a show there in my younger years, and I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you who.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It wasn't like a big act. Yeah, classic. It's a Tulsa staple, an Oklahoma landmark. So we're gonna jump over to Winslow, Arizona. Are you familiar with the town of Winslow, Arizona?
I have been through there a couple of times when I lived in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you stand on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, like that Eagles song?
No, I didn't.
They have a whole corner there where you can there's like a photo op, and they
Oh.
just like constantly blast that song in that square,
Oh, goodness.
which would drive me nuts.
Yeah, that would drive me crazy. I'm not a big Eagles fan.
I could take them or leave them. I don't feel any sort of way really, but I don't need to hear it all the time.
No, not all the time. Although it does remind me of being out on the lake. It's a lake band, like a day on the boat.
I could see that.
Not here, like a lake on. Not we're not going to be listening to that when we do our photo shoot on the boat. We're not going to be listening to the Eagles, but it's more of an Arkansas lake boat situation.
Yes, or Oklahoma,
Yes.
or Arizona.
Yes. Or Arizona, apparently.
So here's one that I've stayed at. It's called La Posada. So La Posada Hotel is a historic masterpiece shaped by two visionaries, renowned architect Mary Coulter and preservationist Alan Affeldt. Originally part of Fred Harvey's hospitality empire, Fred Harvey, I should have spent a little more time researching him. He had something to do with like the railway. And I think there was even like a thing called Harvey Girls, because he would hire his staff would be like beautiful women, and they would be dressed in like very specific uniforms, and they were called the Harvey Girls.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they looked like go-go dancers or something.
Well, it was before then, before go-go dancers were a thing. Maybe like Can. Like,
Can, yes.
Yeah. So originally part of Fred Harvey's hospitality empire, the hotel was built in 1929 as one of the most luxurious stops along the Santa Fe Railway, designed to be the finest hotel in the Southwest. Coulter, known for her iconic designs of the Grand Canyon, considered La Posada her greatest achievement, meticulously crafting every architectural detail. However, after just 27 years, the hotel closed in 1957, and much of its museum-quality furnishings were auctioned off. And then in the 1960s, it was repurposed into railway offices, and over the decades, it faced numerous demolition threats. So it just sort of like fell into like just a bad state.
Mm-hmm.
But then Alan Affeldt, who I mentioned previously, purchased La Posada in 1997, leading a $12 million restoration effort to bring it back to life as a living museum and functioning hotel. And it's so cool. It's such a cool place. I actually stayed there twice.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun for like a weekend getaway from Phoenix. But I love historic Route 66.
I agree.
It's so fun. And it really is such a cool hotel. The train still passes through, like you can go out and watch the train go by. There is a museum in the hotel, and they keep it updated. Like they have a gallery, they have artists come through, and it's really cool. And then they have a Michelin star rated restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's like a new wing that you can stay in. I've stayed in both the new and old, but it's beautiful. Like it's such a cool place to stay. And it's not crazy. It's not like crazy expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably because of the location, because Winslow, Arizona is a tiny spot
Yeah, it's
along the
not
highway.
it's not like a huge destination area. I mean, I
Mm,
guess it maybe is. You kind of have to drive through there to go to Vegas.
You do, yeah. You just have to know to get off the highway to
Mm.
go into the town.
Hmm.
Um, but so La Posada is not widely promoted as a haunted location, but its deep history, loss, and rebirth fuels speculation of lingering spirits. It remains an active stop for highway travelers and is one of the nicest Michelin star rated restaurants, which I just mentioned, along Route 66. Paranormal investigators have reported ghostly presences, including feelings of being watched, unexplained footsteps, and electronic voice phenomena, or EVPs. I actually, when I stayed there most recently, was with my cousin Lindsay. She flew out and we went there over Halloween weekend and we stayed at a couple of haunted hotels, and that was one of them.
Oh, did you experience anything?
Disappointingly, no.
Oh,
We did partake in many spirits that night, so maybe though I just slumbered through
true.
until my hangover the next day. So then there is the Museum Club in Flagstaff, Arizona, which was originally a taxidermy museum. Um,
Okay, I got to tell you, taxidermy freaks me the fuck out.
yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't know why people do it. I don't know why people want it hanging in their homes.
Mhm.
It is a dead carcass that
Yeah.
has been somehow, I don't know what they do to it. They taxidermy it, whatever taxidermying is, but it creeps me the fuck out. And I think that anything that's taxidermied has the potential of being haunted.
Just some guy who loves stuffing dead animals.
Oh, God. Like, who would want to learn how to do that?
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, I'm not a huge taxidermy person, but I do love taxidermy birds.
Mm.
But specifically, I don't like them when they do like the wings out
Hmm.
because it feels so like less natural. Like I feel like natural state for a bird is just like standing, wings in. So that's why I'm sort of interested in that. I have some like bugs, like framed insects that are kind of
That's
unique.
different.
Or I have like
Yeah.
a moth that's like this beautiful like greenish yellow and it's big with like a
Hmm.
long tail.
Hmm.
It's in like an all white frame and shadow box. So but
Yeah, but
I
that's different
digress.
than like having like a raccoon or
Yes.
something weird like that.
Yeah. No judgment, but we will judge you if you have a stuffed raccoon.
Yes.
So yeah, so the museum club, former taxidermy museum, later became a country music dance hall.
Yeah.
The former owner, Don Scott, committed suicide after his wife, Thorna, fell into a coma from a fall down the stairs. Um, a cowboy spirit is seen near the fireplace, and a ghostly woman at the bar vanishes when approached. So there's like a few little creepy things happening there.
I wonder if it's her. I wonder if she was drunk when she fell down the stairs. I know I've been drunk and fallen down the stairs before.
I'm pretty sure I've witnessed it
Yes.
a time or
Well,
so.
I did once and broke my ankle.
This is
or
hilarious.
actually, it was a third degree sprain. It wasn't a full break.
When there's
But
a third degree sprain, eh, that's a tale for a talk of shame.
yes. Yes.
So the next place, I also stayed at with my cousin Lindsay on that same trip, and we stayed there on the evening of October 30th. So it was like, we woke up on Halloween day in the hotel. And I can't remember the room we stayed in. I really wanted to stay in the room that Susie Sue stayed in from Susie and the Banshees.
Hmm.
I've always been like a massive fan of theirs and of hers. Didn't get to, but um, it's a really cool hotel. It was a lot of fun. They have two bars, and that night they had like the front bar, which is a little more elegant and like expensive. And then there's like an underground passageway which led to a back bar, which was like divier. And they played dance music, and Lindsay and I danced till all hours. Um,
That
but it
sounds
was
fun. I love stuff like underground, you know,
mhm.
underground passage. That sounds really cool.
Sex clubs, glory holes,
All of
passages,
the
and
above.
dungeons. Yeah.
Yes.
So in the mid 1920s, as tourism grew in Flagstaff, Arizona, local residents saw the need for a modern first-class hotel. A community-driven fundraising effort began in April 1926 with notable figures including author Zane Grey. Everyone knows Zane. Good old Zane Grey, contributing to the project. Within a month, they had raised $200,000 and construction began on June 8th, 1926. The 73-room hotel was built incorporating two existing structures, the local post office and the Coconino Sun newspaper building, giving the hotel a distinctive character. It opened on New Year's Day, 1927, originally named the Community Hotel to honor the townspeople who funded it. However, a 12-year-old contest winner later renamed it Monte Vista, which means mountain view, reflecting the hotel's scenic surroundings. So if you haven't been to Flagstaff, and I know that you have,
Hmm.
it's set sort of in the foreground of the Santa Fe Mountains. I'm sorry, no, the San Francisco Mountains, which has nothing to do with San Francisco. But this is like a skiing area. It's really pretty. For decades, Hotel Monte Vista remained Arizona's longest publicly held commercial property, symbolizing the community's deep connection to the landmark. And then in the early 1960s, it was sold to private investors. Today, it stands as one of Flagstaff's oldest hotels, recognized on the U.S. Register of Historic Places. Um, and this one I wanted to get a little bit deeper on because there's like several stories here. It's had a burp again.
Go balls deep, Blake.
We're going to lube up with a glass here, and we're just going to thrust right into this hotel. So some notable hauntings and ghost stories. Room 305 is room to the rocking chair ghost.
Oh,
So,
rocking chairs freak me out a little bit.
this room also has taxidermy. Just kidding. It would be your worst nightmare.
It would be my worst nightmare.
And is alcohol free.
Oh, yeah. Keep me away.
So room 305 is where the spirit of an elderly woman has been seen sitting in a rocking chair by the window, and the chair has been witnessed moving on its own. So that's room 305. And then right next door, room 306, according to local legend, two sex workers were murdered in this room and thrown from the third floor window. Reportedly, their spirits have never left. Guests have
By
experienced
whom?
some guy
Yeah.
who slept with them and then used and abused.
Yeah. Threw him out the window?
Yeah, tossed him out the window. Guests have experienced strange noises, disembodied voices, and an overwhelming feeling of unease while staying in the room. And then one floor down, in room 220, this room was once home to a boarder known as the Meat Man, who
Tell
was
me
also a
more.
sex worker.
I was about to say, was this a brothel? Or are we sure that this is a hotel?
So I think he was a butcher, but he reportedly had this habit of like hanging raw meat from the chandelier.
Oh.
Yeah. And then after his untimely death, guests staying in room 220 have reported feeling an unseen presence, strange smells, which I'm sure, all those
Yeah.
meats, and unexplained disturbances. And then, let's head down the hall, Amanda, to room 210, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Hollywood icon John Wayne had a paranormal experience during his stay in room 210. He reported hearing a knock at the door followed by a voice announcing room service, only to find no one there when he opened the door.
Oh
Other
my.
guests and hotel staff have also encountered this ghostly bellboy roaming the halls. So they call him the Phantom Bellboy. And then there is um, the friendly ghost of the bank robber. So, a bank robber who was fatally wounded in a shootout reportedly haunts the lounge area where he died. And I'm assuming this is in the old bank part of the. Oh, wait, or is this post office? There's so many stops, Amanda, on this trip that I can't even remember where we are anymore.
I believe it was a post office,
It
right?
was a post office. Maybe he was going to mail some money back home.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, he was shot, fatally wounded, and reportedly haunts the lounge area where he died, which I believe is now part of the more elegant, like sophisticated bar up front of the
Mm-hmm.
hotel. Some guests claim to have heard a cheerful "Good morning" from an unseen presence. So cheerful for a fatally wounded bank robber.
Right.
And then the most terrifying part of this stay at the Hotel Monte Vista. Several guests and employees have reported hearing unexplained laughter, a crying baby in the basement,
Oh.
and the voices of children when no one is around. It's like
Oh.
noisy kids and crying babies. No, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. Keep those ghosts away from me.
Keep them away. Throughout the hotel, objects mysteriously move, lights flicker without cause, and eerie sensations leave visitors unsettled. And on that note of creepy kids, let's get the hell out of there and continue on our journey. Here's a few that I'll just breeze through really quickly. There's a lot in Arizona. There's a lot of like haunted stops along Route 66. And I think part of that too is because this is a stretch of Route 66 that still exists. Um, a lot of Route 66 has just vanished since it's been decommissioned.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot here to check out. Formerly a saloon and bordello, the Red Garter Inn in Williams, Arizona, now a bed and breakfast where guests reported hearing footsteps and doors slamming. The ghost of a young Hispanic woman named Eve is said to haunt the property, along with spirits of a man stabbed on the staircase and an old man who committed suicide. And then in Peach Springs, Arizona, there's the Grand Canyon Caverns. Discovered in 1927, the cavern was later found to contain the skeletal remains of, I'm not going to get it right, Hualapai tribesmen. Visitors report shadowy figures, moaning sounds, and aggressive rock throwing in areas where the skeletons were removed. So someone went in and tampered with their burial ground, which
Mm-hmm.
we all know is a no-no.
Right.
I'm going to skip some of these. God, there's lots of kids in this. So then in Kingman, Arizona, there is the El Trovatore Motel, known for its Hollywood-themed rooms dedicated to Clark Gable, Marilyn Monroe, and James Dean. The most persistent ghostly activity comes from children heard playing in the parking lot.
Ugh.
It's also believed to be spirits from an old indigenous settlement behind the motel. And then we will end our journey in Santa Monica at the Georgian Hotel. The Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica, California, opened in 1933 and quickly became a popular spot for famous gangsters, Hollywood elite, and celebrities like Al Capone. So, which is kind of fun. He like bookended our journey here.
Yes, he did.
Al Capone, Bugsy Siegel, Clark Gable, and Carol Lombard. The hotel was one of the city's tallest at the time and was home to one of Los Angeles' first speakeasies during Prohibition. Its secluded location at the time, not now, an exclusive atmosphere made it a prime choice for those seeking a private getaway. Over the years, the hotel has been renovated and expanded, but has maintained its historic charm. In addition to its glamorous past, the Georgian Hotel is also known for a haunted activity. Employees and guests have reported hearing disembodied voices, loud sighs, gasping, and even giggling in the hotel's speakeasy restaurant when it's empty. Some have experienced unexplained running footsteps throughout the restaurant, and several transparent apparitions have been seen. Guests have shared their own eerie experiences as well, such as one who found his suitcase emptied, the bed covers turned down, and the television turned on after taking a shower.
Oh, that would make me leave.
Oh, I would be like, that's so thoughtful. Like if I came out and all my stuff was like unpacked and the bed was turned down and the TV was on for me, if it was on like HLN or something.
Oh my God, what if it was what if it was like Forensic Files was on?
Oh, perfect. I would
Yeah.
get along so well with that spirit. It's like it knows me. Another account involves a front desk clerk who received a phone call from a room only to hear giggling and later discovering that the room was unoccupied.
Wow.
So, once a vital highway connecting Chicago to Santa Monica, Route 66 played a major role in American history before being decommissioned in 1985, which, Amanda, was 40 years ago. Can
Wow.
you believe that?
I know. That's crazy.
Someone drove down that road for the last time listening to Take On Me by Aha.
I know. I wonder what the top 10 was back in 1985 at this time. I didn't know that Route 66 started in Chicago. For some
Mm-hmm.
reason, I thought it maybe started somewhere in like Texas or Oklahoma or something like that.
Yeah, Oklahoma is like a midway point.
Hmm.
But yeah, Chicago.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's it. That's our concludes our road trip. You can put your convertible top back up and we'll end in the hotel bar as we
Have you ever stayed at that hotel in Santa Monica or been there?
No, I'm sure it's outside of my budget.
Mm. Well, you could at least roll through there for a drink.
This is true. I actually have been to there's like a sign at the end of Route 66, which is right like facing the ocean. And we were there with my parents. When did I go see Cyndi Lauper?
Was it last month or
October?
January?
November. It was November.
It was November. God,
Yeah.
has it been that long already?
Uh-huh.
Wow,
So we took photos like there at the end of Route 66.
that's fun.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool looking hotel. And I should have said this up front, but if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple, thank you. But also, I'll include a lot of if you're into like architecture and history. I'm hopefully you are because there's a fair amount of that here. But I'll include a lot of photos of these locations.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. I'm actually surprised the number of stories along the way that had children involved in them. Did that many kids die?
I mean they should.
I mean, it's just like really crazy that many kids would haunt a place, especially like hotels and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Although, like, there are times of cholera and, those
Mhm.
sorts of things where lots of people of different ages died. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that happened.
Yeah, you're having your own sort of haunting noises right now. The spirit of some dog.
So annoying.
It
I have
happens.
no idea what they are barking at, but they are protecting the home. Maybe there is a spirit outside, or perhaps a cat walking by.
They probably heard some fucking annoying kid giggling outside and were like, listen,
Yeah. Well,
back
thankfully, we don't have a lot of kids around this area.
oh, thank God, because I'm coming to visit soon and I don't want
Yeah,
to
I know. I
and they don't
know.
want to see me in a Speedo. So
Right. Well, they are probably used to seeing people in Speedos around here, so it wouldn't be shocking.
true. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I'm very excited about said trip. We have all of our activities mapped out for our photo shoot for the most part. It's going to be a lot of fun. Listeners, stay tuned. We won't give a lot away here.
And we'll give a lot away during the photo shoot,
Yes,
which you
yes,
can see at a later date.
yes, exactly,
Mm.
exactly. That was fun. I loved how you kind of wove in the little trip across the country for us.
I'm so glad I didn't give hints last week because I was planning on doing something wildly different. But I decided to wait on that one because we will do your episode next, and then we will do a talk of shame. And I think we should record that after I go on my paranormal investigation that I'm going on.
Tell me a little more about this again.
So I won't give too much away right now because it's sort of an exclusive thing through my job. So we're doing a paranormal investigation with Cain, who played Jason Voorhees in several of the Friday the 13th movies. Um, it was for a fundraiser. So we'll be out there with Starlight Children's Foundation. I'm going to go to one of the hospitals there that they work with. And yeah, it's going to be a whole thing. But we're doing a paranormal investigation at a classic Los Angeles haunted home.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
I've never done anything like that. I went on a haunted tour once in Seattle. It was a haunted tour of bars in Seattle. Didn't see anything, particularly haunting. Once again, I was probably too drunk if anything did happen to notice. But yeah, that sounds like a really interesting thing. And I love anything that happens in LA too.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I'll see something or hear something or feel something.
Yeah,
But
that would be amazing.
I love that. Like, I always I seek out places like that. Like when I stay at hotels, if I can stay at a, purportedly haunted hotel, I'm all in. Since Josh and I have moved here to Arizona, we've stayed at a lot of them or visited in, varying capacities, but and I haven't seen or felt anything here, unfortunately. I'm sort of bummed about. But I love historic things and places, so it's even fun just to know that those things are there.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Have you ever looked up like how old is your house that you live in?
1956.
Yeah. Have you ever looked up anything, like how you can look up and see if anything
Hmm.
has happened in your home or anything like that?
Yeah, we haven't found anything, and I've never
Notable.
felt anything here.
Mhm.
But the first house, so before we moved to Arizona, I bid on 9 different homes,
Oh my gosh.
and we kept getting outbid by people coming from California putting in full cash offers. And
Mhm.
I could afford the minimum down payment, which at that time was 3.5%. That was all I could afford.
Yeah.
So we just kept getting outbid. So and like full cash, just you can't
No,
compete.
not at
So
all.
but the first home that we bid on, I did get vibes. And
Really?
it was along one of the canals here. And there were all of these marks, like ridges along the door frames. And so we did some digging on the place. And the guy that had lived there, I don't want to say his name, but I remember it. He was in a wheelchair. And so his wheelchair had made all these marks. But he was also a pedophile. And I don't know much beyond that, but it was like seriously, even before I knew that, because I went home, we looked it up after the fact, but it felt weird in there.
Wow. That's
I still put an
crazy.
offer in. I'm just gonna hit it with some sage and call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you probably hear some gross giggling noises in there.
Oh God.
Crying children.
Yes, children. That's crazy.
Hmm.
I wouldn't even think to do that, like to look up who actually was living there at the time. That's really smart.
He had died.
Hmm.
The homeowner had died, so he was dead at that time. But yeah, it was pretty creepy.
You can't die and run from public record.
No.
You know, you're still going to be a pedophile.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's your
man.
legacy.
Well, that was actually really great stories. A multitude of stories,
Yeah, short, little shorties, short but sweet.
short and sweet.
Little
Um,
chodes of stories. Well,
Oh, I guess I can tell everyone where they can continue to listen and watch us on. We prefer that you actually watch us. I think that YouTube is much more fun, but there's still the Spotify and Apple if you'd like to listen at the Forbidden Pod. We also are on all of the social channels, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at the Forbidden Pod. We have a website that we would love you to visit that I definitely need to update. It's www.theforbiddenpod.com. I've had a little bit of family stuff going on, so I've been a little backed up lately. And then we would love to see your nudes. We don't care about your feedback anymore. All we need are your nudes at hello@theforbiddenpod.com.
yeah, flaccid, hard. Conjure up some nudes for us and send them over.
Yes. But do rate, I mean, we would like you to rate and review us, particularly on YouTube. You know, we've had a couple people do that. So that's always fun. But yeah, we really don't care about your feedback to our email anymore. We just like to see nudes, or if you can somehow work your way into whatever prison that Luigi Mangione is in right now and can get us photos, we'd appreciate that as well.
Get us his nudes. We're still interested.
Yes. Haven't heard a lot about him in a minute. Like, I thought he was supposed to have a court date a couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
and I don't know if it got pushed for some reason or what, but I never heard
Maybe there's
anything about it.
maybe there's some other things happening in the news right now.
Yeah, yeah, just a few things. Oh, I saw that there was a plane incident at Scottsdale's airport where Vince Neil's private jet crashed, landed into another plane. And he was not on the plane. Vince Neil of Motley Crue, in case anyone has been living under a rock, Vince Neil's lead singer of Motley Crue, who has been around for quite some time. But apparently it landed and then somehow skidded. It was like one of those like Learjet sort of situations, and skidded, hit another plane. It killed the pilot of his plane.
Hmm.
And then I believe that there was a co-pilot that survived, and everyone else survived but was injured. But that happened. I think
Hmm.
it was, if not today, maybe yesterday sometime.
That's
So
crazy.
you'll.
I was just there for a Super Bowl party on Sunday at there's a Super Bowl party in a jet hangar.
Oh, yes.
And oh, I should share this. You remember John Gotti?
Yes.
An informant during his trial, Sammy the Bull,
Yes.
was relocated to Arizona. He was
Mhm.
at the party, the Super Bowl party.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Oh my god, did you meet him?
I didn't meet him. I didn't want to bother him, but that was definitely because I could care less about the super match.
Mhm.
That was the highlight of my evening.
Yeah. That would be the highlight of my evening too, because I'm so into like the mafia and stuff like that. I love mafia stories.
Hmm.
And I definitely know who's what the fuck was he doing there?
Watching the Super Bowl, just hanging out. He had like
Was
a
he, did he
he
know
had,
someone who was
he
hosting
he
or?
must have. He was at a table with people, and I saw him walk in. I was like, oh, that's an interesting character. He had like a jaunty little chapeau on, like a little
Mhm.
newsboy cap,
Mhm.
and he's old now, so he was
Yeah.
like small and just sort of like, yeah. but there he was.
Wow. How interesting.
Hmm.
Things that you never think would happen to you for 500, Alex.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe in New York, you'd expect to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely not in Scottsdale.
Mm-mm.
I
Yeah.
guess he's out of danger by this point because everyone knows where he is.
Yeah.
Because wasn't he like a snitch?
Yeah. He was, what do you call it? Um,
He was an informant.
yeah, but then they had to place him under a, what you call it? Protective.
Oh, protective, yeah, protective protective services or something like that. Witness protection.
Yes, thank you. That's the one.
Witness
I clearly needed
protection.
another glass of wine.
Personally, that must have ended years ago if he's just out and about.
Yeah, because since then he owned or owns a restaurant here in town.
Mhm.
Megan was telling me, friend of the pod, Megan, um, because she's a Phoenician, so
Mhm.
she knows more about his history here. But he's
Gotcha.
out. He's
Out and
out of
about.
the mafia closet, out of the witness protection closet.
Mhm. Did you ever watch that show Mob Wives at all?
No.
Oh, it was so good. So good. Well, should we call this one?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, thank you, Blake, for telling those amazing stories all the way from Chicago to Santa Monica.
Amanda, thank you for letting us use your convertible for that road trip.
Oh, you're welcome anytime. And listeners, as always, we thank
Thank you.
you. Got to get that convertible out.